And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from, I want to see if I can get this name right, Chino Drill 22 or ZZ? I can never remember how it's written. I think it's ZZ. Who asked the question, one that probably should have been in the speed round, honestly. Who will win a fight? Superboy or Moro? You specifically said Moro 73. It's what that is, if you're not familiar with Dragon Ball Super manga, is this character Moro who's essentially a goat man wizard that eats plants. He's kind of a Galactus, actually. He's legitimately. He steals the life force of plants and eats them and grows stronger. He's also very magically inclined and capable of absorbing others into his being to increase his strength. Well, at one point he absorbs this being known as 7-3, a particular type of android. And that's where this particular form comes from. As such, though, the problem with this fight becomes very evident very quick when you kind of stat them up next to each other. Well, the DC universe generally is stronger. Like, even though I contend Goku could beat Superman in a fight, and hell, even Death Ball said he'd beat all of them except the main one. I even still think he'd beat the main one. It's just, most of the time, you're not going to see Superman max out his power to beat Goku. But that's a different argument entirely. Superboy is nowhere near as powerful as Superman. I mean, nowhere near as powerful as Superman. Now, that's not to say he's not strong. He's certainly strong. He's got Kryptonian DNA. Absolutely. One second. I'm going to just get some stats up here right now. Let's see here. Superboy Con-El. That was his name. That's what I want. Con-El. So, Con-El is still extremely powerful, but he's not a perfect clone, also known as Connor Kent. He's a combination of Superman's DNA and, I believe, a combination of Lex Luthor's DNA. At least he was in Young Justice. As such, because of that, he's not pure Kryptonian, and therefore nowhere near as strong as someone like Superman. He can still deliver massive, powerful punches. He's still solar powered, heat vision. He's still got all the basic abilities of Superman. It's just his strength is nowhere near on the same level as someone like Superman's. And he also still maintains all the same basic weaknesses of a Kryptonian, like, weakness to kryptonite. He's also arrogant thanks to his DNA coming from Lex Luthor. He processes yellow sun less efficiently than Superman, so he can actually run out his powers a lot quicker, and red sun radiation as well. He's basically just a downgrade of Superman. Add on the fact he's still young and can make mistakes, and you've got a guy who's someone you can easily take advantage of in a fight. Again, still pretty powerful, but he's not a Superman. Moro, however, once he got to this form, was literally going toe-to-toe with Ultra Instinct Goku. Was literally able to, and was even messing him up pretty hard for a while. I can't remember if it was this form or a previous form where he literally punched a hole through his chest. But when you scale him up to someone like that, who's in lower forms, is breaking the fabric of his universe with just a punch clash with an individual, and Beerus. This means you're talking about a guy who's thousands, millions, maybe even billions times stronger than that. Not to mention that he's got all the expertise, martial arts expertise. He's been feeding on others' energies and copying their abilities through that, like Piccolo, Gohan, all had their shit copied from him. He also has magic of his own, which Kryptonians do not have special resistance to magic. And he's far older and has far more experience than someone like Superboy. You're dealing with a guy that this is not someone Connor Kent would be able to go toe-to-toe with for very long. Now, I'm not saying it would be a complete stomp, but I am saying it would be it's a very firm win for Moro, is what I'm saying. When you combine the fact that he could even steal theoretically the strength of Connor Kent, that's another thing you have to take in consideration. Moro is that he can in fact steal your strength and make it his own, given the right circumstance. He literally consumed, I think, or was it copied or consumed, the Angel Mirrors, and at least some of his power. Unfortunately, due to biological rules, like literally in place for angels, they cannot go on the offensive. It cannot wreak havoc in that way. They are limited, and that kind of screwed him over. But hold on, Moro Dragon Ball Super or Moro Dragon Ball. Just so I know I'm not crazy in what I'm referencing here. Moro went from old goat man to, adult young goat man to then this form right here. And if I remember correctly, they did design him like kind of like off of Baphomet a little bit, like goats are goat is the like the animal of Satan kind of thing. I am curious if they will adapt at some point when we do get back to Super, if we do animated, because right now we're doing Dragon Ball Dama, which I have really no desire to watch. But if we go to Super, will we go into the Galactic Patrol arc and go into Moro, who's an interesting villain to say the least. He is interesting. He's like a weird mix of Majin Buu. No, you know what it is? He's a mix of Babidi and kind of a little bit of Cell or a Majin Buu type character. So it's a very unique character in Moro, to say the least. But yeah, he can use the magic to manipulate the very elements of plants' life energy and tap Vegeta with it. Let's see here. Where is he? After consuming repairs, his strength increases, noting that even if he were to confront them, the odds of victory are practically zero. Over the next 2 months before arriving on Earth, Moro considered many more plants to grow stronger and reach the anticipated battle with the Saiyans. I know he can copy powers. I'm just trying to find where it says that in his bio here. Let's see here. All right, I can't find it at the moment. The site's loading it's just throwing at a snail's pace. But I know he can steal powers. The whole point of me trying to go through that was to say that this is a guy who's going toe to toe with universe destroyers and beyond. Whereas Connor Kent is just not that level of power for a Superman type character. It would be a pretty painful fight for Connor. He'd start the fight out, come in, definitely throw hands for a little bit until eventually Moro's like, well, this is cute. Poof. But Adrian's like, wait a minute, you're not human. It's like, I'm going to steal your power. Maybe he steals his ability to absorb solar radiation and make him stronger, which is kind of nuts. But ultimately, he just beats the living hell out of him pretty easily, I feel. Moro gains the win in this particular versus. Again, my opinion, if you think different, totally fine. Also, my opinion is probably should have gone the speed round. I thought I didn't know off the top of my head who Moro 73 was until I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that one. Oh no, this guy's cooked. But I digress. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.